pretty good, what can I say? Bed when you don't feel like it. Man, this is just a squeaky chair. Okay. I'm gonna have to... Beautiful. Do you have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning? Well, I don't. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to be less like you and more like me. That's not true. I still struggle occasionally to get out of bed in the morning, but after learning these 5 tips, I'm a lot better at it, surprisingly. I didn't think that I could be someone who could just spring out of bed in the morning and just get to work, but these 5 tips have helped me immensely, and I would consider myself a morning person now. It's crazy. So if you're interested in becoming a morning person or getting out of bed more easily, the most important thing that you need to take into account is that you need a reason to do it. You need to find your reason why you want to start waking up early. Maybe that's you want to have more time in the day. Maybe you find that you're more productive in the morning when you actually wake up. Maybe it's because you have a lot of work you need to get done during the day and you want to free up your evenings for friends and family and the fun stuff that you want to do. That was actually my reason why I started waking up early. It's because I do a lot of video work, and I would find that oftentimes I'd have so much schoolwork, so much video work, so many personal errands I had to run. By the time the evening rolled around, my friends would be like, "Hey Joey, do you want to go do something?" And I would almost always say, "I got this thing, I got this assignment, I had this video to edit," and that gets old quick, and your friends stop calling you to do stuff, and it's pretty depressing. So once you find your reason that you want to start waking up early, you can follow these 5 tips to make that process easier. Tip number 1 is don't use your phone as an alarm clock. This is bad for a number of reasons, and the main one is that when you wake up in the morning and you grab your phone, what's in your hand when you wake up? It's a distraction device. There's Instagram, Facebook, and whatever the heck you do on your phone right there greeting you into the world. You don't want that, and it certainly won't help you spring out of bed and get on with your life. The second reason is that if you were using your phone as an alarm clock, there's a good chance that you were using it before you went to sleep, and science is showing that that is a significant contributor to a lack of quality in your sleep. Even if you say to yourself, "Wow, that's nice, Joey, that's nice science, but I use my phone before bed and I still fall asleep just fine." You're not dumb. Maybe you are. That's certifiably absurd. Science shows that when you use your phone before you sleep, releases cortisol in your brain, which is the stress hormone, which really affects the quality of sleep. You don't want to be stressed out when you're trying to fall into deep sleep. That's all subliminal. So if you think you can fall asleep just fine with your phone, that might be the case, but it's not very good sleep. The solution to that is to unplug your phone charger from next to your nightstand, move it to the end of the room or even to another room. That sounds absurd in this day and age, but you have to make sacrifices if you want to succeed. I think that's what they say. And then you have to buy a dedicated alarm clock. Take a look at how sexy and just minimalist and beautiful this looks. I'll throw an Amazon affiliate link in the description so you can get your copy of that and give me money in the process. Tip number 2 is to wake up at the same time every morning, even on the weekends. You want to create your own sleep rhythms. Your body's internal clock loves that, and when it knows it's time to wake up, it will give you the energy it needs to wake up if it's consistent. But if your sleep schedule's like completely turbulent and all over the place, your internal clock has no idea what's up, so it's just gonna guess. And often it misses the mark, which is why you feel like crap in the morning. But a lot of people will argue, but what if I only get like 3 hours of sleep? Do I still have to wake up at 7:30? My answer to them is, why are you up so late? You should be more organized than that. My other answer to that is, that should be an exception. Like, you shouldn't be doing that all the time. Try as hard as you can. If you have to supplement with power naps throughout the day, that's encouraged, but I'm talking about ideals here. I was just about to talk. In my experience, having a fixed wake up time takes about a week to get used to. You'll start waking up at the same time every morning and realize that your body's not providing you with that energy, but it'll get easier and easier as time goes on. And about a week to 2 weeks later, you're gonna really start to get used to it, and it'll just be a well-oiled machine. Tip number 3 is to never set multiple alarms. You might think that by setting multiple alarms, it is a security net to make sure that you wake up, but most people just use that as an opportunity to stay in bed until, they snooze the 3rd alarm 4 times. When you set multiple alarms, you're subconsciously giving yourself permission to sleep past that 1st alarm and the 2nd alarm. So you need to train yourself to respond properly to that 1st alarm, because there are no 2nd alarms. That alarm goes off and you have a procedure. Speaking of a procedure, tip number 4 is to have a plan when you get out of bed. One of the main reasons I used to just go back into bed or stay in it, especially on the weekends, is because I didn't really have a reason to get out of it. Obviously, I had something to do later in the day, probably a video to edit, let's be real, but I didn't have to do it that morning. So why don't I just stay in bed until I start panicking and realize that I should probably get some work done? If you can relate to this, you need a system. This can be as easy as just getting up out of your bed, walking to your slippers, if you have slippers, I don't, walking into your kitchen, pressing play on the Keurig, you know, pressing start on the Keurig or Nespresso or boiling hot water. That's it. But you gotta lock it in. That is what you're doing as soon as that alarm goes off. Not that I recommend, per se, a caffeine dependency, but there are a lot of us who have one. One thing I tried doing, it didn't really work out for me because I preferred my AeroPress and Nespresso, but I had a coffee maker that I prepped the night before that I set a timer for, so when my alarm went, the coffee was already ready for me to walk to, and it was a great system. I just didn't really like the coffee very much. But if you don't mind the taste of cheap coffee made from a like $26 Amazon bestseller, it's probably the cheapest way you can have that coffee automation system. If you're not a coffee snob like me, check it out. You might like it. That sounded really condescending. It'll probably be good enough for you. That coffee maker stuff leads me right into my fifth tip, which is prep the night before. You wanna make it as easy as possible for you to just jump out of bed and go about your day. This includes, but is not limited to, having a dry towel ready for you so when you wanna take a shower, you can take a shower. You might even want to prep your outfit that you're gonna wear for the day, the night before. Have a fresh pot of coffee waiting for you, like I said in the last tip. Figure out what's on the to-do list for the day, the night before, so that when you get out of bed and have the coffee in you, you actually know what your day is looking like. All of these things are helping you to start to do stuff. And doing stuff is the best way to not sleep. Don't quote me on that. If you do too much stuff, you might get tired and then you fall asleep, but you get what I'm saying. If you follow these 5 tips, you have my personal guarantee that getting out of bed in the morning will be a lot easier, and you may find that getting out of bed in the morning really isn't that bad. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, and if you like videos like these in general, hit that subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, hit that bell icon below the video. I did a live stream last week, and people, there was a fairly good turnout, but people kind of complained that they didn't really know when I was gonna go live, and they're like, well, you know, if I knew that you went live, I would have totally joined and asked you some questions and had a good time with you. I don't have a schedule for going live yet. It was a lot of fun last time. You guys asked some great questions. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day, and we'll catch you in the next video.